Michigan State went 4-8 last year. They won one Big Ten game. And they got rid of Jonathan Smith, turned the keys over to Pat Fitzgerald. At this point, I think I've made it pretty well known. I'm not a huge fan of the hire, but Fitz was very successful to a degree at Northwestern for 17 seasons, won 110 games. He's an accomplished guy. He's got a huge network. I don't blame Michigan State for giving him a try. There have been plenty of other teams who have thought about giving Pat Fitzgerald a try. So I understand where they're coming from. My issue with Fitz, I felt like he ran out of ideas at Northwestern, especially on offense. Unless he had a dual threat guy at quarterback or a beast at running back or both, it felt a little bit stagnant. They had trouble scoring. I never got the sense that there was a great vision on that side of the ball.
No.
Is that fair?
Yeah, totally fair.
Seems fair to me.
No, they basically Hankwitzed and offensive lined their way to whatever success they had.
So I have a hard time now projecting that version of Pat Fitzgerald forward to Michigan State.
Right.
And I worry that the same thing is going to happen over again. That may not be something to worry about. That could be an entirely irrational fear, but that is my baseline for this guy. And a big part of why I wasn't a huge fan of the hire. Now, if you listen to what he said at Media Day, for whatever that's worth to you, putting a premium on toughness, offensive line depth, and leadership, which in year one is not a bad place to start.
No.
Like, you would take that. Last year, the line was 123rd in the country in sacks allowed. Would help to be a little bit tougher along the line. They definitely need to get better there. And in general, this is absolutely a program that needs better culture. They certainly need better culture. I think Fitz can do that. Fitz can help them do that. Long-term viability, that's sort of where I start to worry a little bit more about this. But year one's probably going to be rough regardless. And I think we should just sort of bake that into the cake as part of this preview.
Okay, so they're an interesting squint team to me, the more I dug in.
I continue. I tend to agree with you. I don't want to get out over my skis, but I did find myself being a little bit more enchanted than I expected.
Okay, so there are a couple holdovers. Notably, it's a Joe Rossi defense, right? So he was retained as defensive coordinator, and he's had a good amount of success as a defensive coordinator in the Big Ten, going back to his time at Minnesota. You can squint and see a quarterback with some ability. I went back and watched some Alessio Milivojevic. Thank you very much. He's got some ability. He can move in the pocket a little bit. He was able to find Nick Marsh across the middle. It was good across the middle, which I always appreciate. Played kind of fearlessly, even when things were definitely not going all that well. Now, he had, say what you will about Jonathan Smith, but Jonathan Smith has been good for quarterback development. He puts quarterbacks in a position to succeed. And Michigan State was not in a position to succeed all that often last season.
They weren't, but to the point.
Yeah.
Milivojevic played later in the season last year.
Yeah, Aiden Childs was benched.
Saw some upside here. He's not like a bottom tier quarterback.
No, I think he's pretty good.
I think he's like comfortably in that middle tier with some upside. I like the kid a lot, actually. More of a pocket passer, like gonna need the line to play better than it did a year ago. If the line plays this year like it did last year, this probably is not a functional offense. Full stop. But if he gets some help from the line, there is a lot to like with this guy at quarterback. I'm with you.
There is some upside on defense. The secondary has been productive at other places, whatever that means to you. Everybody's going to need to be wrapped in bubble wrap on both sides of the ball. There's zero depth. Nobody can get hurt ever when I look at this team. And so I think they're like 4-8, 5-7. But I think there are squinty moments for Michigan State. And I'm not a fan of the Pat Fitzgerald hire either. And I think their intentions will be held back. I don't love the Nick Sheridan thing coming over from Alabama. Although it's kind of a buy low thing, too. Like, he's probably better than what Alabama showed. That's a pressure cooker of a job. And it just was not happening last year for Bama's offense over the course of the year.
But to the point,
yeah,
okay, line was an issue a year ago.
Definitely.
We've already established that. The engine for this offense, to my eye, looks like it's going to be Cam Edwards at running back, who comes over from UConn. A great pickup.
Yeah, agree.
If we know anything about Fitz teams, I said it a moment ago, they want to feed him the rock. They want to give that bell cow the ball. Nick Sheridan Couldn't build the rushing attack at Alabama. We'll see if he can do it here. Maybe it's not fair, but I do have some reservations about putting him in charge of this ground game, which Fitz is talking about toughness and offensive line. Clearly, that's going to be a focus for them. Can he do that? I like Cam Edwards. We'll leave it there.
This is not for Michigan State. If you are a fellow squinter like Ty and myself, the defenses on this schedule, Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Nebraska, when you look at where they were running against the run last year, Wisconsin, Illinois, Northwestern, UCLA, and Rutgers. Those specifically. Those are enough defenses that a competent offense is scoring 20 plus against.
Yep.
If they're not fully as good as they had hoped. There's opportunity for this offense this season to move the ball with intention. That's all.
4-8 for me.
Yep, agree. Thanks for watching, and thank you for at least considering subscribing to the channel. It means a ton.